especially those from high-ranking attendants with exceptional talents, whose organs had a very high success rate. This has even led to the emergence of a profession, organ hunter. They specifically target high-ranking, exceptionally talented servants, stealing their organs and then selling them on the black market. Mingmei shook her head repeatedly. No. I can't do that. It will expose my talent. If the people in power find out about my talent for regenerating organs, I will be arrested. Ling Jingxue nodded. That's right, then this plan is rejected. Miao Miao said, then let's do this, go out of the city to hunt monsters and demons, and find some precious herbs along the way. It doesn't seem like we're in conflict. Mingmei thought for a moment and nodded, that's fine too. We can take on missions that involve hunting monsters, where there's a high probability of finding herbs nearby, to increase our earning efficiency. After finalizing the plan, Mingmei was satisfied. We haven't made much money lately. Now that we're in Kyoto, we can't let Lord Qin Tian lose face in front of the other masters. We must make sure he lives in a mansion, drives a luxury car, and eats gourmet food. Upon hearing about food, Scarlet licked her lips, started yelling, banged on the sofa armrests, kicked the coffee table, and shouted, I want roast chicken. Miao Miao frowned, we just ate so much roast duck, aren't you full yet? Scarlet scoffed, that's not enough. I want black-bone chicken and pigeon. Go buy them for me now. If you don't buy it for me, I'll go out and kill a few masters right now. Miao Miao rolled her eyes, go ahead and kill them, as long as Lord Qin Tian is alright. Scarlet's eyes widened, then I'll tell everyone Qin Tian's secret. Mingmei quickly stood up, I'll go buy it. I'll cook it. Stop arguing. Scarlet nodded in satisfaction. Soon, Mingmei bought black-bone chicken and white pigeon from a 24-hour supermarket. As she looked at the black-bone chicken and white pigeons in the kitchen, she inexplicably thought of Aki and Mai. The black-bone chicken is like Mai, and the white pigeon is like Aki. She murmured softly, I wonder how Qin Tian optimized them. Mingmei chuckled and said, let's cook first. After Lord Qin Tian finishes his work, he needs to have some nourishment before going out to earn money tomorrow. Chapter 87 Be careful on the road. The Earth Empress Jormungandr. The next morning. Qin Tian opened his eyes, gently embraced the soft, warm body beside him, and smiled tenderly. He kissed them on the lips, and they awoke like sleeping beauties from the prince's kiss. Aki smiled gently and said, Good morning, Lord Qin Tian. Thank you for your good morning kiss. Mai said with some distress, I have no strength in my whole body right now, and my legs are numb. She glared at Qin Tian, it's all your fault. I still have to go out on a mission today. Qin Tian placed his hand on Mai's thigh, stroking her silky skin, completing the healing. Through healing, he immediately understood why Mai was doing the task even though it wasn't the monthly mandatory task time yet. You want to buy me a big house? Aki covered her mouth in surprise. Lord Qin Tian, how did you know? She glared at Mai. Sister, did you secretly tell Lord Qin Tian? Mai waved her hands repeatedly. I didn't. Qin Tian patted their heads and said, Stop arguing. He buried their heads in his chest and whispered, I'm glad you're willing to act for me, but I hope you stay safe and don't take on any dangerous missions. Good. Mai nodded slightly, then lowered her head and looked south. Qin Tian straightened his back in surprise and asked, What are you doing? Mai looked up and smiled slightly. Of course, I'm just saying hello to my good friend. Aki chimed in, I want to say hello to my best friend too. Qin Tian looked at the two of them speechlessly for a moment, then grinned. My good friend said it was a little tired and wanted to go to the sauna for a while. Mai chuckled and said, Come to my place, it's hotter here. Aki snorted and said, Too hot is no good. It's warm here, and the humidity is just right. This is it. This is it. The two sisters argued over which sauna to go to. Qin Tian chuckled, Why don't the two families go together? Ah. Lord Qin Tian is so wicked. After finishing his morning exercise, Qin Tian brought his two sisters to the living room. Mingmei immediately brought over a bowl of black chicken soup and a roasted pigeon, saying happily, Lord Qin Tian, come and eat. It's very delicious. Qin Tian lifted Mingmei's chin and said, I want you to do it for me yourself. Akemi nodded, blushing, okay. He glanced at everyone. Hua Shangrong had already sent her younger sister to school early. Chairman Zhang's arrangements were excellent. Hua Sedong was able to enroll in school immediately upon arriving in Kyoto. The school she attended was the Kyoto Tenmei University affiliated middle school, which is considered a very good school. The others were dressed in formal attire and had placed their weapons in the entrance hall, including Ding Miao Miao's 4th-tier spear-type magic weapon and Mai Yi's twin swords. Mingmei picked up a silk handkerchief to wipe Qin Tian's mouth and said softly, "Lord Qin Tian, we're going out to take on missions and earn money together. You can rest at home. We'll be back in about a week." Qin Tian nodded. "Before we leave, I want to replenish everyone's magic power. If you run out of magic power, forget about the mission and come back, understand?" He was in the living room, infusing everyone with magic power. A third of the 4th-tier magic crystals given out on Census Day had already been used up. Qin Tian stood at the door, looking at Akemi, Aki, Mai, Ding Miao Miao, and Ling Jingxue, who were tidying their clothes in the sunlight, and said gently, "Be careful on the road." Upon hearing this, Mingmei and the others smiled brightly, the sunlight casting a soft golden glow on their faces. "We're heading out." After seeing Mingmei and the others off, Qin Tian stretched and was about to go back to sleep for a while and then play some games when Scarlet suddenly said something. "Qin Tian, did you feel the earthquake yesterday?" Qin Tian was slightly taken aback, and said somewhat embarrassedly, "Was there such a big commotion yesterday?" Scarlet rolled her eyes. "Who was talking about what happened yesterday?" "I was talking about the real earthquake." Qin Tian shook his head. "I didn't feel it. Yesterday was so intense, how could I have sensed an earthquake?" Scarlet sighed. "I'm really worried you'll suddenly die." Qin Tian couldn't help but have the idea of teasing Scarlet, and said, "So you were worried about me dying?" Scarlet grinned angrily. "You're dead, and I didn't get to eat any. That's a huge loss for me." All right. Qin Tian waved his hand. "So what? It's just an earthquake. It's not some super earthquake, what's the big deal?" Scarlet slumped her head in exasperation. "You're so naive. If it were just a normal earthquake, would I have told you?" Qin Tian blinked, his expression gradually turning serious. "What did you discover?" The 8th-tier queen's perception was definitely more acute than his, and Scarlet's favorability towards him had reached 80, so she certainly wouldn't play tricks on him for no reason. Scarlet's eyes were grave. "I suspect that a monster empress has her eye on this city." "Why?" Qin Tian asked curiously. "This is the capital city, after all. With a 9th-level master in charge, what blind empress would dare to come here?" Scarlet said in a deep voice, "Dragons." Upon hearing the name of the dragon clan, Qin Tian trembled and goosebumps rose on his skin. "A demon empress of the dragon race?" Scarlet continued, "I suspect that the earthquake last night was caused by the Earth Empress Jormungandr. It was the cheers that sounded when she appeared." Qin Tian's scalp tingled. "Hey! Really? The 4 great female emperors of the dragon clan are heaven, earth, water, and fire. The Earth Empress, Jormungandr, is a 9th-rank female emperor. It is said that as long as she dances, the earth will shatter and mountains will break, and everything will be buried by her. Why did she come here?" Scarlet pouted. "How should I know? Maybe they're here to eat you." Scarlet tried to scare Qin Tian, but he didn't believe her. He had the title of Queen's favor, and the Queen and Empress would no longer pursue him. Scarlet grabbed Qin Tian's hand. "So, come with me for a walk and let's look for her." Qin Tian's lips twitched slightly. "Hey! This is your real purpose, isn't it? The Earth Empress's arrival is clearly just an excuse for you to go shopping." Scarlet grew impatient. "Are you coming or not?" Qin Tian stroked his chin. "Come on, call me daddy and I'll go." Scarlet's face turned red with anger, and she stomped her feet repeatedly. Finally, she pleaded in a gentle voice, "Please, daddy, take me out to play." Qin Tian laughed and picked up Scarlet's petite figure. "Okay, I'll take you out to play right away." Scarlet rolled her eyes, sat on Qin Tian's shoulders, then raised her chin to the sunlight, looking superior and extremely smug. The young lady is quite dignified today. Chapter 88 Finding the Way to Jormungandr. Just as Qin Tian was about to leave, he suddenly remembered someone. He turned back and called out to the house. "Wan Wan." Li Wan, who was drawing in her room, rushed out and responded loudly. "What's wrong?" Qin Tian looked at the girl in front of him, whose white dress was stained with various paints, making her look like a big tabby cat, and smiled slightly. "I'm leaving the family in your care." Li Wanqing smiled slightly and nodded, saying, "Okay, although my skills aren't great and I can't do missions with everyone to earn money, I can earn money by drawing comics and take care of my family at the same time." Qin Tian waved his hand. "Then I'm going out." Li Wan waved goodbye and said, "Take care on the road." Qin Tian and Scarlet walked through the campus of Destiny University. Unlike the deserted campus last night, the campus was crowded with people during the day. You can still see luxury cars on the road, like Aston Martins, Doug Hellcats, Lamborghinis, and Bentleys everywhere. He even saw Corvette. TSK, no wonder it's the best university in Kyoto, there are rich people everywhere. Chin Tian sighed, realizing that compared to these masters, he was truly penniless. No wonder Akane and the others are so eager to make money. Akane's Panamera is basically just a nanny van here. Scarlet scoffed, why do you guys like this kind of trash so much? Chin Tian said calmly, these are symbols of status. Even if they look good but are useless, as long as you drive them, others will look at you with more respect. Boring. They walked through the garden like campus, left the campus, and came outside. Looking around, she saw a food street. Scarlet's eyes widened, and drool dripped from her mouth. Quick! I want to eat. I want to eat all of that. Chin Tian said, you just had breakfast, are you hungry again? Scarlet glared at Chin Tian with disdain, I'm not hungry, I'm craving delicious food. In the dynasty, it's all cold, raw meat. People are always talking about which blood type tastes good or which creature's meat is the best. The chefs we took from human society died of overwork after a short time. It's practically a desert of food. Scarlet launched into an accusation, her tone filled with resentment. I've finally come to human society, I'm going to eat until I'm completely satisfied. Scarlet clenched her little fists, making up her mind. So, the news about the Earth Empress is false? Scarlet glanced at Chin Tian, it's true. Chin Tian's heart skipped a beat for a moment. He had initially thought Scarlet was just making excuses to go out, but he hadn't expected it to be true. He looked at the cute girls coming and going on the street, and at his arrogant master. These people probably have no idea that they are about to face annihilation. What exactly is her purpose in coming here? Chin Tian asked again. Scarlet raised an eyebrow and said angrily, you're so long-winded. I don't know, that's why I suggested looking for it. Chin Tian said calmly, if you keep doing this, I won't buy you any more snacks. Scarlet's expression froze for a moment, then she put on a bright smile, cupped Chin Tian's face, kissed him, and said softly, good daddy, Krull's tummy is rumbling, he wants to eat. Chin Tian was amused by Scarlet's quick change of expression and arrived at a Jinbing Chinese crepe shop. The name of this shop is very appealing. World's top 500 Jinbing Guozi Chinese crepe, original price 1888, national subsidy 1000, city subsidy 800, store subsidy 80, now only 8 yuan. Scarlet ordered 10 servings at once. The waitress's eyes lit up, and she quickly prepared them for Scarlet, smiling and saying, thank you for your patronage. The moment Scarlet took the Jinbing Guozi, the earth began to shake violently. Ouch! The girl screamed and tried to grab onto something to keep themselves from falling. Scarlet grabbed the Jinbing Guozi and said coldly, look, she's causing a commotion again. Chin Tian frowned deeply, does this guy really intend to invade Kyoto? Scarlet said calmly, it's not that she intends to invade, but rather that she is currently in Kyoto. The little girl's eyes turned blood red, contracted into vertical pupils, and she looked around. Perhaps she is hiding in the crowd, a 9th-level empress, concealing her aura and disguising herself as a human, so that no one can detect her. Chin Tian was stunned. No one could have noticed? He should be able to find out. His system allows him to see all the information about the potential servants, which is how he discovered Scarlet. He can see the panel of each candidate's servant by turning on the full view function. If he finds a servant whose talent is higher than S level, he can basically confirm that it is the Demon Queen or the Monster Empress. He doesn't usually turn on this full view function because it strains his eyes. However, rather than waiting passively, he still needs to find the other party first. With at least the title of Queen's favor, his life would not be in danger. He first closed his eyes, then slowly opened them, as if waking up. The world before my eyes turned pale blue, and the girl's panel was fully visible in my field of vision. He can see whether there is a contract or not. The girls in those contracts were all listed as backup servants, and he couldn't help but wonder if the system wanted him to NTR them. Suddenly, Chin Tian's eyes lit up. NTR? I wonder if doing this will bring me any new achievements or titles. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth unconsciously turned up, and Scarlet felt disgusted when she saw Chin Tian's expression. What are you thinking about? Chin Tian waved his hand, it's nothing, I know how to find Jormungandr. Just take me to where you think she is. Scarlet looked at Chin Tian with some skepticism, then nodded, I'll believe you for now. She looked around carefully, sensing her surroundings, then pointed in a direction and said, "Let's go take a look over there. The core of the magic seems to be over there." Qin Tian nodded and was about to leave when a familiar voice called out to him. "Hey! It's Mr. Qin Tian? Why aren't you reporting for duty? What are you doing here?" Qin Tian turned around and saw that the person who had called out to him was Zhang Xinyue, whom he had seen last night. She walked over excitedly. Today, Zhang Xinyue is wearing a red and gold trimmed uniform style. Her long legs under the red plaid skirt are wrapped in glossy black stockings, and she is wearing Mary Jane shoes. She wore a red blazer with a pink bow at the collar and a red rose medal pinned to her full chest. Zhang Xinyue walked over, her pigtails bouncing and waving, emitting a faint fragrance. She walked up to Qin Tian and smiled slightly. "Are you lost? I happen to be free from class right now, I'll take you there." Qin Tian's lips twitched slightly. He had to go find Jormungandr. Zhang Xinyue didn't give Qin Tian a chance to refuse at all. She directly grabbed Qin Tian's hand and walked towards the academic affairs office. Qin Tian looked at Scarlett, who shrugged. "No rush, she's not a reckless person, she'll definitely plan for a few days." Zhang Xinyue asked in confusion, "Who are you talking about?" "It's nothing," Qin Tian said. "Oh." Zhang Xinyue gave Qin Tian a deep look. When they arrived at the academic affairs office of Tianming University, the office was extremely luxurious, filled with cultural relics and paintings. The teacher in the academic affairs office, an old man with gray hair and full of energy, holding a glass of whiskey, smiled slightly when he saw Qin Tian. "You've arrived," Qin Tian said. "I shouldn't have come." The entire office fell silent. Chapter 89, Course Selection for Enrollment. Sending a young girl to the Berserker department. Zhang Xinyue quickly smoothed things over. What Mr. Qin Tian meant was that he shouldn't have come so unprepared, and he felt a little embarrassed to meet the professor empty-handed. The teacher laughed heartily after hearing this. "Young people are really interesting. We're old and can't keep up with the pace of our young masters. When you come to see me, you don't need to bring any gifts, just show up." Qin Tian rolled his eyes at Zhang Xinyue. He was clearly just telling the truth. If it weren't for Chairman Zhang, he would still be developing servants in Donghai City. The teacher looked at Qin Tian and Scarlett riding on Qin Tian's shoulders and said kindly, as expected of the student recommended by old Zhang, "You get along very well with your servant. Although your hobby is a bit unusual, it is clear that you love your servant very much. Although you are only F rank, because of your love, your servants are cultivating very fast. They seem to be at the 4th rank by now. I believe that you will reach the 4th level soon." Qin Tian thought for a moment and decided it was about time to advance to the 4th rank. So he absorbed a portion of the power he had plundered from the green antelope and advanced to the 4th rank on the spot. Inside the office, magic surged. The teacher and Zhang Xinyue stared wide-eyed as Qin Tian advanced from the 3rd to the 4th rank, the whole process happening incredibly fast. The office fell silent once again. This time, Zhang Xinyue was speechless. Scarlett looked at Qin Tian intently, seemingly lost in thought. "Interesting. This magic definitely comes from the blue antelope. It can actually grow rapidly by seizing magic." After a long pause, the teacher finally realized what was happening and burst into laughter. "Young people are really interesting. I just said something casually, and they made a breakthrough. Is this the power of love?" Zhang Xinyue chuckled dryly. "Mr. Qin Tian, did you reach the breakthrough threshold a long time ago and deliberately break through in front of us?" Qin Tian shrugged. "Maybe. What do I need to do upon reporting for duty?" "Hurry up, I have other things to do." He urged the two of them, saying that there was a 9th-tier empress in the city, and if they didn't find her quickly and raise her favorability, it would be very troublesome. The teacher originally wanted to chat for a while, but seeing that Qin Tian seemed to be in a hurry, she took out a pile of documents. "Once you fill these out, you'll be considered enrolled." Upon seeing these documents, Qin Tian picked up a pen and began to write. Name, talents, rank, servant information. This basic information could have been printed directly, but these bastards insist on making you write it by hand to ensure the authenticity of the documents. Then comes the selection of majors and courses at Destiny University. Qin Tian couldn't help but curse these top universities in his heart. When he was studying in Donghai City, he didn't have to choose classes, and even if he did, he could choose not to attend them. He spends his days either playing at home or going out to find the school beauty's attendant. Now it's all good when you go to a regular university, you have to choose a major and select courses. Those who skip classes will be publicly criticized throughout the school and warned in a city-wide notice. So annoying. He said he shouldn't have come. There's an all-around program in my major, but I won't go there. It's obviously a very demanding major, you have to learn everything. Ha! This training department is interesting. Is it a department that teaches how to train servants? This is it. Then came the courses. Chin Tian found the paper with the training courses and randomly ticked them off. Topics such as servant psychology, general principles of servants, the death of servants, the physical and psychological aspects of servants, and postpartum care for servants are prominently featured. Oh, right, please put a check mark here and sign your name. Suddenly, Zhang Xinyue handed him a piece of paper. Chin Tian was busy going to find Jormungandr, so he didn't even look at it before ticking it and signing it. What he didn't know was that this piece of paper was actually a decision sheet for choosing a romantic partner. After selecting his major and courses, he turned to the major selection for the attendance. Here, the master arranges the servant's major. What the servant studies is up to the master. After choosing a major, the servant chooses the specific subjects. Chin Tian became a little more cautious here and didn't do anything reckless again. He was keen to teach Akemi and the others how to spend a wonderful night, and he wanted to teach them real combat, even though he could do it himself with his rich experience in plundering. But now, Chin Tian has too many things to do. For example, how to raise their appearance to 100 and turn them into Valkyries, then, optimize the attributes of each servant and Hua Shangrong's debut plan, etc. Leave the professional stuff to the professionals, they can just fill in the gaps in their knowledge. Akemi goes to the swordsman department. Aki is skilled with throwing weapons, namely spears, but spearmen have always been unlucky, and he didn't want anything to happen to such a gentle girl as Aki, so he sent her to the bow-wielding class. Mai is skilled with dual swords and possesses the mystic eyes of death perception, making her a member of the assassin faction. Ding Miao Miao, this Valkyrie with a perfect appearance, is also skilled with polearms. Moreover, she has Qi Na within her body, possessing multiple powerful talents and strong combat abilities. She should be able to ignore the limitations of the Lancer's E-rank luck and go for the Lancer class. Ling Jingxue, go to the magic department. Li Wan is so erotic, she likes to draw doujinshi, of course she'd go to the cavalry. On the battlefield, you ride a horse at home, you ride this, hee. As for Hua Shangrong, he can go to the music department. He has many songs from his previous life that he can give her. It would be a good opportunity for Hua Shangrong to go to the music department and see if she can meet any big names in the entertainment industry to help her get started. As for Scarlet, he looked at her childlike figure, a slight smile appeared on his lips, and he had a mischievous thought, so he gave her a berserker set. Scarlet's face darkened when she saw Chin Tian choose the berserker class for her. I want to get angry, but I have to hold it in. This isn't Donghai City, the old man in the office is no pushover. She said to Chin Tian with a kind expression, Master, didn't you choose the wrong class? How could I go to the berserker class? I should have gone to. That's right. You should go for the berserker class. Chin Tian said firmly. On the battlefield, who would expect a young female servant to be a berserker? She could have a surprising and decisive effect. The teacher's eyes lit up, and he said, Young man, you're really something. Putting the least suitable class for the berserker class, the attendant, into the berserker class might actually have a surprising effect. Clever. Scarlet gritted her teeth and whispered in Chin Tian's ear, You think you can play like this? You just wait. After completing the enrollment process, Chin Tian checked the time. About 2 hours had passed. Can I go now? The teacher, while organizing the documents, said calmly, That's enough. Zhang Xinyue said, It's already noon, let me treat you to lunch. Chin Tian was getting annoyed. When would Zhang Xinyue ever stop? He was going to Jormungandr. Seeing Zhang Xinyue clinging to him like that, he sighed, I'll decide where we eat. Zhang Xinyue paused for a moment, then nodded, okay. So Chin Tian got into Zhang Xinyue's Audi Horch and pointed in the direction Scarlet had indicated earlier. Go this way. Zhang Xinyue glanced at Chin Tian in the passenger seat with a strange look and asked, Are you sure? What's wrong? That's the Yang family's territory. Chapter 90 Striving for 2 billion. The terrifying power of the Yang family twin towers. The outskirts of Kyoto. Mingnei plunged her longsword into the chest of a bored demon empress. This 5th tier, 5-meter tall, fat monster empress let out a painful howl. As she approached the pig demon, she reached out and placed her hand on its rough skin. Deterioration. The once strong pig demon empress suddenly became much more fragile, causing her eyes to widen in disbelief. It angrily grabbed Mingmei's chest, wanting to crush her to death. However, she was shocked to find that her arm, which she had just raised, was frozen. In the distance, a silver-haired girl with a calm expression had raised her hand, which was emitting cold air. The pig demon empress let out a howl, and the powerful sound waves impacted the entire area before crashing into an invisible wall, failing to harm Ling Jingxue in the slightest. Aki flew through the air, her long hair flying. The power of Indra's wrath intercepted the sound waves and bounced them back, landing on the boar demon empress. Her rough, tough boar skin tore open. "You lowly women! I'm going to kill you all." Even so, the pig demon empress's life remained tenacious. She threw Mingmei out of her hand, creating a large crater in the dirt. She thought this would seriously injure her, but she found that the seemingly weak girl was covered in green light and instantly recovered from her injuries. Hateful. She clenched her fist, slammed it into the ground, and pulled a large hammer made of clay from the earth. She leaped up and slammed it down on Akemi, intending to use her weight and the power of the hammer to smash Akemi into Akemi-chan. Suddenly, a fiery red figure appeared in front of them. The girl twirled the spear in her hand, her back to the black sun, and firmly grasped the pig demon empress. The burning spear pierced the pig demon empress's degraded chest, causing her entire body to burst into flames. The air was filled with the aroma of lard and screams of agony. This power! You're only at the 4th rank, how can you be so strong? The pig demon empress was ferocious, but she was unyielding. "But this won't kill me. Before I burn out, I will kill you all." Ding Miao Miao chuckled, "Wow. You're so confident. Too bad, I'm not your only opponent, mine. The final blow is up to you." The pig demon empress turned around abruptly, her pupils contracting as she saw a black figure appear. Her entire body was wrapped in lightning, and her arrogant curves were captivating under the lightning. What surprised her was not how beautiful the other person was, but the terrifying power of the twin swords in her hands, which made her tremble all over. "I've already seen your deathline. Let's end this," Mai said calmly, and with a slash and a cut from her twin swords, she left 2 deep wounds on the pig demon empress's body. Such a wound would not normally kill the boar demon empress, but it was caused by the mystic eyes of death perception. Cutting it open would surely result in death. The radiance vanished from the pig demon empress's eyes. She knelt on the ground, her entire body of fat and bones turning to ash amidst the ashes of everything, leaving behind a yellowish-brown magic crystal. Ding Miao Miao excitedly picked up the magic crystal. "Wow! We're so lucky! This magic crystal must be worth at least 50 million. Everyone gathered around, and smiles appeared on their faces as they looked at the magic crystal. Even Ling Jingshue's eyes trembled slightly. Mingmei brushed a strand of hair behind her ear and said softly, "Not bad. We can kill a 5th-tier demon empress with ease if we join forces. The reward for this hunting mission is 30 million. With this magic crystal, we've earned at least 80 million. It doesn't seem that far from 2 billion. Ding Miao Miao said with boundless optimism, "At this rate of making money, the Wang family and the Yang family will soon be trampled under our feet." Mai sheathed her twin swords and said calmly, "Don't think of the Yang and Wang families as so simple." Miao Miao looked puzzled. "Are they really that exaggerated?" Aki explained gently, "Not to mention that the Wang family has an 8th rank master in charge. Its members are spread throughout the Xinhua kingdom. There are 5 7th rank members, including servants, and more than a dozen 6th rank members. As for the Yang family, they are even more terrifying. They have 2 8th level masters and 4 or 5 8th level servants. It is no exaggeration to say that the Yang family is a powerful family in the capital. The Wang family is climbing up to the Yang family." Ding Miao Miao suddenly realized and looked at Mingmei. No wonder the Wang family wanted to give sister Mingmei to the Yang family so much. They were trying to curry favor with the Yang family. Akemi put on a relieved expression and said, "As long as Lord Qin Tian doesn't cause trouble for the Yang family, everything should be fine. The Yang family wouldn't violate the master's servant law for my sake." Ma Yi laughed and said, "That's true. The capital city isn't under the Yang family's control. The Li, Zhao, Song, Qin, and Xia families, the 5 top families, won't let them run wild." Ding Miao Miao laughed heartily. "That's right. Do you think Lord Qin Tian is so powerful? Could he be from the Qin family?" Akemi's lips twitched slightly. "No way, it's probably just because they have the same surname. There are plenty of people like that in this world." Aki said, "If Lord Qin Tian were a member of the Qin family, he wouldn't be living in Donghai City, he would at least be in Nanling." Ling Jingxue said calmly, if Lord Qin Tian is a member of the Qin family, we are doomed. Everyone fell silent. The Qin family spearheaded the transformation of the Imperial Guard into a death army. The Qin family masters are notoriously ruthless in their treatment of servants. If any master in the family treats a servant well, the servant will be punished according to family law at best, and in severe cases, sent to prison or all servants will be executed. The Qin family treated their servants as well as they once did now, they treat them just as cruelly. Stop chatting and get back to the tasks. You've only earned 80 million, you're still a long way from 2 billion. Mingmei clapped her hands to encourage everyone, and then they threw themselves back into making money. Inside Kyoto, Qin Tian and his group arrived at the foot of the black and white twin towers. This place is not only the young family's residence, but also their property. The Black Tower, from the 30th floor upwards, houses the residences of the masters, while the lower floors are luxury brand storefronts. The White Tower was mostly filled with shops, run by the young family's servants. Inside the White Tower, you can buy almost any goods and services. Even if you want to play with the young family's servants, they can do it for you as long as you pay them. Play as many times as you want, however you want, as long as you pay enough money. The reason why Akemi was afraid to enter the young family was because she was worried about this. She had heard that in the White Tower, there was a very beautiful servant who served more than 3,000 masters for 7 days and 7 nights without sleep, and finally died. I heard that when the servant died, his body was completely mutilated, his eyes were empty, his teeth were all gone, and his limbs were severed. The servants in the White Tower are not even as good as the women in the slums. Zhang Xinyue frowned and said, "This is it. What exactly do you want to do here?" Zhang Xinyue asked Qin Tian, who in turn asked Scarlet, "Do you know the exact location?" Scarlet frowned slightly, "We're too late. The magic has dissipated. Let's go into the Black Tower first." Zhang Xinyue looked puzzled. Why was Qin Tian asking the servant for advice? "Hey! Are you a customer? Would you like to have lunch at our McDonald's? We have a new cheese beef burger today." A girl dressed like Ronald McDonald excitedly jumped in front of the three of them and enthusiastically introduced the fast food restaurant behind her. Qin Tian turned his head and saw the Ronald McDonald, his eyes widening in surprise. Found it! Chapter 91 Jormungandr. The God of War in the toilet? Qin Tian looked at the Ronald McDonald in front of him. The panel on her body betrayed her identity. Alternative attendant, Jormungandr. Age, 3262. Talent level, EX level Shiva's Dance, grants the abilities EX level Electromagnetic Force Control, EX level Weak Force Collapse, and EX level Gravitational Manipulation. Class, 9. Height, 166 centimeters. Weight, 51. Measurements, 83-63-80. Appearance, 100. Favorability, 30. Why did he have the illusion of seeing an old friend when he saw this Jormungandr? Qin Tian's sudden words startled Zhang Xinyue and Scarlet. Zhang Xinyue looked puzzled, wondering what Qin Tian was doing. Scarlet, however, was shocked, wondering how Qin Tian had found Jormungandr so quickly. She looked at Ronald McDonald in front of her and couldn't see any sign that he was Jormungandr. However, she felt that Qin Tian was not lying, because when she first met Qin Tian, he was able to see through her identity at a glance. Jormungandr looked at the excited Qin Tian in front of him, unaware that his identity had been exposed, and thought that this master really wanted to eat McDonald's. Although the master before them was a delicious meal, an unwritten rule had already emerged among them. That means trying not to hurt this master. Who knows, he might leave humanity one day and join them. She took Qin Tian's hand and said, "Now that we've found something delicious, let's enjoy it." Qin Tian and the other two were pulled into McDonald's by Jormungandr. She took off Ronald McDonald's headgear, revealing an extremely beautiful face. As a master who created a Valkyrie with perfect looks, Qin Tian felt that Ding Miaomia was already very beautiful, and could be considered perfect in every aspect. Even Akemi's brokenness, Aki's gentleness and politeness, Mai's arrogance, and so on. However, the appearances of these individuals pale in comparison to Jormungandr. Her beauty is something Li Wan couldn't capture even if she drew 10,000 characters in a script. Her beauty is like a vast landscape painting, containing countless details. Even the corners of her eyes when she smiles seem to be meticulously sculpted. Jormungandr grinned. "What would you like to eat, guests? I recommend the new cheese beef burger, as well as the black truffle Angus set meal. If there are 3 guests, you can also order a super chicken wing bucket." Guest? Jormungandr looked at Qin Tian, who was staring blankly at his face, with a hint of smugness in his eyes, but on the surface he asked with feigned concern, "Guest, have you decided what you'd like to eat?" After being repeatedly reminded, Qin Tian finally woke up. His eyes were serious as he stared at Jormungandr. Jormungandr swallowed hard, feeling uneasy. Could it be that this master wanted to possess him because he was too beautiful? Qin Tian said, "Can we talk alone?" Jormungandr rolled her eyes. Sure enough, she was being tempted by her beauty. All human masters were the same. How many is this today? But she can't eat this master, it's so annoying. Jormungandr tried to refuse. I'm still working, could I? I want to talk to you alone. Qin Tian's tone left no room for refusal. Masters around were already looking over. That ridiculously pretty waitress, didn't you hear my brother want to talk to you alone? How dare you refuse? Do you have a death wish? A mere servant, a mere waiter, should be obedient. Do whatever the brother asks you to do. If you refuse him again, I might just join him in having a chat with you. Count me in, she's so pretty, I've never seen anything like her in the White Pagoda, I'll give her a try today. Jormungandr's lips twitched slightly. Her dads. These masters are out of their minds. They weren't like this 100 years ago. Forget it, let's deal with this master first. At worst, I'll just knock him out. I absolutely can't let it affect my plans. Jormungandr forced a smile and said, "All right, master, let's go to the restroom and talk." Looking at Jormungandr now, Qin Tian couldn't help but sigh. She truly deserves to be called a natural beauty with a perfect 100% appearance. Even when she's forcing a smile, she's still so beautiful. The masters standing nearby started to cheer. Yo ho! The bathroom god of war? TSK TSK TSK, I remember there were soft toilet seat covers in the bathroom, it seems like they were prepared for this. Wow, the owner of this shop is an expert. I'll find a waiter to go in and have some fun later. Shall we go together? Okay. Zhang Xinyue's face twitched, and she couldn't help but sneer inwardly. He. So Mr. Qin Tian is no different from the other masters after all. I thought Grandpa's master was something special, someone who loved his servants so much. Once outside, if he sees a beautiful servant, he will still take her away to satisfy that disgusting desire. Scarlett just smiled without saying a word. These masters were simply too much fun. They still don't know that the sword of Damocles is hanging over their heads. They probably still think the world is a wonderful place until the guillotine comes down on them. Amidst the rumors, Jormungandr, his face dark, led Qin Tian into the restroom. Inside were individual stalls, their doors tightly shut, yet even so, the sounds of heavy breathing could be heard emanating from within. Jormungandr felt nauseous and glanced at Qin Tian with some disgust, saying, "Let's talk in the private room, it's quiet there." Qin Tian knew exactly what Jormungandr was thinking. She thought he wanted to do something with her in the bathroom, but he just wanted to know what Jormungandr was doing in Kyoto. This kind of thing can't be said publicly, it's safer to go into a cubicle, so he nodded. Good. Jormungandr's gaze grew even more disgusted. Once inside the cubicle, she dropped all pretense. Her originally dark pupils turned golden, and the earth trembled slightly. A surprised exclamation came from the next cubicle. Wow! This shaking came just in time. Great! What an exciting feeling, sir! This is a soundproof wall. Although it's not very thick, the fact that you can still hear it is enough to show how intense the battle is inside. Qin Tian quickly raised his hand and pressed Jormungandr against the wall. Cure! Jormungandr's golden eyes went out, and she let out a soft moan. Her face flushed red, she stared wide-eyed at Qin Tian in disbelief. This master actually suppressed her? What kind of ability is that? Qin Tian said softly, "I have no ill intentions towards you. I just want to know some things about you. Can you please not attack me?" Jormungandr trembled slightly, her face flushed, and she glared at Qin Tian. "You, let me go." Qin Tian said, "As long as you're being unreasonable, I'll let you off immediately." "Let me go. You're pressing down on me there." Jormungandr's voice trailed off. Qin Tian looked down and was shocked to find that his hand was on Jormungandr's chest, but the feeling was off, and his thigh was pressing against hers. "Oh, I'm sorry." Qin Tian's heart was pounding. What had he just done to the Ninth Order Dragon Empress? She wouldn't actually take action because of this, would she? Jormungandr straightened his clothes and composed himself, then said coldly, What do you want to ask me? For some reason, Qin Tian blurted it out. Did you get a hygienic pad? Chapter 92. An old woman over 3,000 years old. That's the Black Emperor's bone urn. Enraged, Jormungandr raised his fist and threw a punch at Qin Tian. Thump! Qin Tian dodged the punch and watched it slam into the wall of the cubicle. Jormungandr is not currently in his true form. Although he is very powerful, he has not been able to break through the wall. You're asking me this? Jormungandr didn't press the matter, she retorted through gritted teeth. Before Qin Tian could speak, a voice came from next door. Bro! That's quite a commotion. Looks like I can't fall behind. Then came the sound of thumping. Both Jormungandr and Qin Tian looked embarrassed upon hearing the voice, but Jormungandr was more furious. What makes you think I'm the one who laid the foundation? Jormungandr questioned. Qin Tian originally intended to ask a serious question, but he didn't expect Jormungandr to care so much, so he simply answered, because it feels different, it's a bit hard. Jormungandr's eyes widened, and with a ripping sound, she tore open her clothes, revealing a snow-white expanse covered in fine scales, with cherry blossoms gently blooming. Knock knock knock. Look carefully. I didn't put on any padding. In order to prove herself, she actually exposed herself, which Qin Tian did not expect. He saw the fine scales and suddenly realized, so that's how hard it is. Did you put on a pad? Qin Tian admired the stunning ridgeline of Jormungandr and nodded slightly, no padding. Knock knock knock. Humph. Jormungandr buttoned up his clothes, his face cold. Now you know, I have important business to attend to. Don't bother me, or I'll eat you up. Having already revealed his golden eyes, he might as well stop pretending. Knock knock knock. Jormungandr was annoyed by the thumping noise from next door, so he started thumping the wall back. The sounds from next door were like a competition, making even louder thumping noises. Jormungandr was speechless. Are all humans this kind of creature? Do you like the thumping sound that much? She glanced at Qin Tian. What? Do you want to have sex with him too? Qin Tian's eyes lit up. What can we do with it? Honestly, being able to have sex with Jormungandr is something I can brag about to Scarlet. Maybe Scarlet will get jealous and have sex with him too. Jormungandr looked at her with disgust. Don't even think about it. I won't give my first time to a human like you. Oh, so you're an old woman over 3,000 years old? Qin Tian exclaimed. Jormungandr trembled all over, his eyes turned gold, and fine black scales grew on his fair and soft skin, making him look like he was about to transform into a dragon. Qin Tian knew he was nearing the red line, so he said, You don't want to expose your identity and cause the plan to fail, do you? Jormungandr felt as if he had been doused with cold water, instantly calming down and covering his forehead. You almost killed me. She then shuddered and couldn't help but sit on the toilet with her hands on her pants. She glared at Qin Tian and said, You scared me so much I peed my pants. Do you want to see? Qin Tian raised an eyebrow. I want to see. Jormungandr simply took off his pants and openly relieved himself in front of Qin Tian, as if he were being watched by a dog. The white mountain ridges, having survived the harsh winter, step into spring, bathed in warm sunshine as the snow melts. Qin Tian swallowed hard. He had to admit, she truly lived up to her reputation as a ninth-tier empress. Even her trips to the toilet exuded such domineering aura. He forgot about the important matter and only wanted to tease the empress, unconsciously using the title Daylight. He could easily set fire to Jormungandr. The thumping from next door was still going on, and he could even hear the girl begging for mercy. The guy next door was so engrossed in his game that he even wanted to prove to Qin Tian that he was good, so he deliberately made such a big commotion. He had been so engrossed in teasing Jormungandr that he almost forgot about the important matter, he said. What brings you to Kyoto? Jormungandr thought Qin Tian was still talking trash and glared at him angrily. That's right. I came to Kyoto to do it. To do it to you, to do it to your whole family. To make Kyoto a river of blood. Qin Tian's lips twitched slightly. Goodness, he'd given Jormungandr a stereotype. He tried to explain, I'm talking to you about serious matters. You, a ninth-rank empress, have come to the capital city. You must have some purpose, right? As long as you don't do anything reckless, I might be able to help you. Jormungandr didn't get angry this time. Instead, she looked at Qin Tian with suspicion. How do you know I'm a ninth-tier empress? Qin Tian said, Do you remember the little girl who was with me? Jormungandr nodded. I know, you have some really peculiar tastes, no wonder you haven't gotten an erection yet. Qin Tian was speechless. He really wanted to use daylight to deflower this 3,000-year-old woman. Of course, Qin Tian was just thinking about it. If he angered Jormungandr and had buried the entire capital city, he would have made a huge mistake. She is Princess Kroll Scarlet of the Vampire Dynasty. If it weren't for the loud thumping from next door, Qin Tian wouldn't have revealed this secret so easily. But that guy next door, he's taking forever. Jormungandr raised an eyebrow, surprised, and said, I see. She couldn't help but scrutinize Qin Tian, a playful look in her eyes. You're quite interesting, always carrying an 8th-tier queen around. Aren't you afraid that humans will accuse you of treason and have you hunted down by the whole world? She suddenly became smug. Now that I know your secret, are you trying to prove your loyalty to me? Interesting. It seems you really want to know what I'm going to do. Qin Tian nodded. Yes, I hope you come quietly and leave quietly, without taking away a single cloud. Jormungandr was startled by the poem that Qin Tian suddenly pulled out. Oh, you're quite eloquent, an interesting little human kid. Fine, I'll tell you, but you'd better not tell anyone else. Qin Tian rolled his eyes inwardly. What an interesting human brat. Aren't you also an old woman of over 3,000 years? Jormungandr glanced at the wall. The thumping from next door was getting louder and louder, so he figured they couldn't hear it. He said calmly, You know who owns this building, right? Yes, from the Yang family. The Yang family sent something back yesterday, a bronze pillar. So what? You came all this way just for a pillar? How desperate you are for a pillar, huh? No wonder you're a 3,000-year-old woman. Qin Tian noticed that Jormungandr seemed about to lose his temper again. I was wrong, please continue. That's no ordinary pillar? Qin Tian couldn't help but be sarcastic again. Yeah, it's a pillar of your preferred size. Never mind what I said. That is the urn containing the bones of our supreme Black Emperor of the Dragon Clan. Qin Tian staggered backward, crashing into the wall with a loud thud, followed by screams from next door. Fire! Qin Tian had no time to complain about his neighbor. His mind was buzzing with shock. Inside the Yang family's building, there was actually a Black Emperor's bone jar hidden. What is the Black Emperor? That was the once Supreme Empress, one of the few 10th-tier super monsters in the entire world, who had disappeared from the dragon race for thousands of years. Jormungandr stood up, grabbed Qin Tian's shoulder, and said seriously, So, come with me to steal it, shall we? Qin Tian swallowed hard, not daring to look Jormungandr in the eye, his gaze unconsciously drifting downwards. Put your pants on first. Chapter 93 Young Master Yang, who loves making friends. Goodbye, Fatty Yang. As Qin Tian came out of the cubicle, he saw the guy next door. A young man with purple hair and a roguish air had his hand on the shoulder of a beautiful girl beside him, who looked exhausted and was covered in sweat. He held her ribs and turned around to see Qin Tian, then greeted her with a smile. Brother, the service and life here is really good, isn't it? Qin Tian exchanged pleasantries and said, Yes, it's fine. The purple-haired man's lips curled up slightly. However, brother, you didn't last long enough. That won't do. As he spoke, he glanced at Jormungandr, who was pulling up his pants and walking out, and his eyes lit up as he exclaimed in surprise. Wow, this is top-notch. Bro, you're so lucky to have run into her. No wonder she was so quick. I'd probably be done with this girl in minutes. Jormungandr gave the purple-haired man a cold look, as if he were looking at a dead man. Whether this purple-haired man has a title or not, to the Empress he's just a delicious meal. He released the beautiful girl beside him. Without support, the girl's legs gave way, and she collapsed to the ground, panting heavily. The purple-haired man walked up to Qin Tian, a slight smile playing on his lips, and said, Brother, let's talk. You're done playing now, can you give it to me? Qin Tian couldn't help but look at the purple-haired man with pity. You'll probably never get to taste the first time of this 3,000-year-old woman before she eats you up. He was about to ignore it, but the purple-haired man said, If you give it to me, I'll give you a Black Tower Gold card with 50% off all goods and free access to all restaurants. How about that? Qin Tian asked, Brother, who are you? The purple-haired man patted his chest smugly. I am Yang Guangming, you can call me Young Master Yang. I am an S-rank master with 3 5th-tier attendants. Qin Tian's eyes darted around, and he grabbed Jormungandr by the shoulder, pulling him into his arms. He whispered to the shocked Jormungandr, Don't do anything rash. We might be able to get up through him. Jormungandr nodded. Seeing Qin Tian and Jormungandr being all lovey-dovey, Yang Guangming teased, "You're still whispering to each other, aren't you reluctant to part?" Qin Tian said apologetically to young Master Yang, "I'm sorry, I've already decided to take her in as a servant." "Young Master Yang, you should give up on this." Yang Guangming laughed, "Interesting. Even if she used to be a waitress who was ridden by thousands, you still want her? However, such a top-quality beauty, having her exclusively after signing a contract, isn't a bad deal." "I understand you." Qin Tian chuckled and said, "After all, I don't have young Master Yang's resources. If you want any girl, someone can find her for you. I can only make the most of what I see." Yang Guangming shrugged, "It's all right. Those people who curry favor with our young family do send us pretty, innocent girls from time to time. Sigh, we get 18-year-old girls every day. It's not interesting at all." "Is this human language? Versailles, is it?" Qin Tian smiled and said, "Is she that amazing? I've never found many girls like her in my entire life." Yang Guangming smiled smugly, "Really? I enjoy making friends. Meeting is fate. Today, a group of young girls have been delivered. How about I show you around?" "Okay." Qin Tian inwardly applauded and smiled at Jormungandr. It's as if it's saying, "Isn't bro awesome? You can go up and take a look with just a few words." Jormungandr rolled his eyes, unconcerned. What bothered her most was why she didn't feel repulsed when she leaned on Qin Tian, and why she kept having all sorts of wild thoughts. Why did she throw a tantrum like that in the cubicle? She is usually very cold and indifferent. In her eyes, human masters are just sheep, while she is a wolf. It's absolutely impossible for a wolf to develop feelings for a sheep. But why would I act so impulsively after meeting this master? Seeing Qin Tian and Jormungandr so close, Yang Guangming couldn't help but smile and sigh inwardly. He's probably from a small town and hasn't seen much of the world. Showing off his younger brother like this is one of his favorite things to do. He preferred the master's adoration to the flattery of his servants. He began to wonder what kind of expression the young master would have when he saw so many girls. He remembered that these girls, as well as some girls from aristocratic families, were all quite beautiful. Unfortunately, he had little interest in girls who offered themselves to him. He preferred hunting. "As for my younger brother, Guangcheng, that fat guy, he always likes girls who come to him, especially girls from prestigious families. He's been talking about that girl from the Wang family lately. That's really pathetic. As the master of the Yang family, one must have an open mind and a broad perspective on the world." Yang Guangming, holding the beautiful girl, returned to the restaurant with Qin Tian. Upon seeing Yang Guangming, Zhang Xinyue frowned slightly and looked at Qin Tian with some anger. "Why are you two walking together?" Yang Guangming's interest was piqued when he saw Zhang Xinyue. "Oh, isn't this the Zhang family's little girl? Have you come to your senses and want to come with me?" Zhang Xinyue snorted coldly, "Give up on that idea. I will never go with you. You scumbag." Yang Guangming's eyes turned cold, and his tone was as sharp as a knife as he said, "Zhang Xinyue, don't think that just because you are an outstanding servant of the Zhang family, I can't do anything to you. Zhang Xinling is much more outstanding than you, and she didn't treat me like this. If you dare to provoke my bottom line again, I will have someone arrest you and throw you to my brother. He will definitely take good care of you." Zhang Xinyue trembled all over, stood up from her chair, and glared at Qin Tian. "I'm leaving first. Let's not see each other again. Your social circle makes me uncomfortable. If your servants knew that you were getting so close to the Yang family, they would probably be heartbroken." After saying that, the girl threw down a stack of banknotes and left without looking back. Qin Tian shrugged, not wanting to explain anything to Zhang Xinyue, as it would be too troublesome. Of course he knew who the servant Zhang Xinyue was referring to was. Mingmei would definitely understand him. He was saving Kyoto. Scarlet ate her fries and burger, watching Qin Tian and Jormungandr leaning against him with a look of amusement, and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. "Wow, that's impressive. You took down Jormungandr in just a few moves. It seems it's not that I lack willpower, but rather that this master is quite special." Yang Guangming glanced at the fast food on the table and said casually, "Brother, don't eat this. Come upstairs with me, I'll treat you to a big meal." "Okay." Qin Tian answered happily, holding Jormungandr in one arm and Scarlet in the other, and followed Yang Guangming into the Black Tower, passing through the bustling shops and entering a black elevator. A pretty elevator operator bows to Yang Guangming, revealing her cleavage. "Excuse me, young Master Yang, which floor would you like to go to?" The 88th floor, I remember a batch of girls were delivered today, right? The elevator attendant smiled and nodded. Yes, we've brought in 132 girls today, waiting for you gentlemen to choose. Yang Guangming nodded and gestured with his chin towards Qin Tian. Tell me which one you like, and she'll be yours today. As he spoke, he couldn't help but glance at Scarlett, whom Qin Tian was holding, and smiled. Brother, you're really lucky. You even managed to find such a top-quality young girl. Because Scarlett had a spell mark on the back of her hand, he did not ask what he wanted. The master's servants must not be deceived. This is a very important principle here. Once a contract is formed, it must never be broken without the master's consent, or the consequences will be severe. His foolish younger brother is still obsessed with that girl from the Wang family. He's really afraid his brother will do something stupid, so he must give him a good talking to today. The elevator arrived at the 88th floor and the elevator doors opened. What came into view was a huge, magnificent plaza, where various top-tier magical artifacts and jewelry made of magical crystals were displayed. In the center of the square, there were over 100 girls, all of whom had a beauty score of 80 or above, with 10 of them having a score of 90 or above. Qin Tian clicked his tongue in admiration. I used to work myself to death trying to find a 90-point master, but these aristocratic masters don't need to be searched for, they just come to me. There were many masters present. They turned around and saw that it was Yang Guangming coming out of the elevator. They all came up to greet him. Oh, it's Brother Guangming. I thought you weren't coming like last time. Yang Guangming waved his hand and said indifferently, I brought some brothers with me this time to broaden their horizons. The masters of the Yang family laughed heartily. As expected of Brother Guangming, he makes friends everywhere. In the entire Kyoto city, are there any masters that Brother Guangming doesn't know? Among these people was Yang Guangcheng, that fat man. He came running over excitedly. Big brother, aren't you going to introduce this guy? Yang Guangming looked at Qin Tian. I don't know your name yet, so you can introduce yourself to everyone. Qin Tian glanced at Yang Guangcheng and smiled slightly. My name is Qin Tian, I come from Donghai City, I am an F-rank master, and I like to collect beautiful female servants. Upon hearing this familiar information, Yang Guangcheng's smile gradually faded. He pointed at Qin Tian and shouted loudly. So it was you. Chapter 94, Shaking Hands and Making Peace with Fatty Yang. A servant from the Qin family. Surprised? Unexpected? Qin Tian smiled as he faced Fatty Yang, feeling confident and unafraid of what the Yang family might do to him. On the left is the vampire queen, and on the right is the dragon empress. What are you going to do about it? Yang Guangming glanced at the two of them with a questioning look. You two know each other? Fatty Yang was furious, his breathing labored, and he pointed at Qin Tian, saying, he's the one who stole my Akemi's master. My lovely Akemi. I love her so much, but she ran off with an F rank. Yang Guangming looked Qin Tian up and down again, his tone somewhat playful. So it was you who stole Wang Mingmei, kid. Qin Tian squeezed Scarlett's hand, reminding her to protect herself. Scarlett raised her chin, as if to say something. These ants would never dare to act recklessly in front of the dignified young lady. Although she hadn't had enough fun yet and wanted to play longer, she didn't want anything to happen to Qin Tian. As for Jormungandr, she kept staring at the ceiling, as if the Black Emperor's urn was right there. Yes, Wang Mingmei is my servant. I like her very much. It's very comfortable to fall asleep holding her soft body at night. Yang Guangming's expression changed completely. He burst into laughter and patted Qin Tian on the shoulder. Interesting. Wang Mingmei, that woman, has a small frame, a slender figure, and good skin. She's a bit thin, but she's still comfortable to hug. You're really lucky, kid. Qin Tian asked Yang Guangming curiously, aren't you angry? Yang Guangming blinked. Why would I be angry? She's just a woman. There are plenty of women in this world. I won't miss Wang Mingmei. He glanced at Yang Guangcheng and said indifferently, only my younger brother is so persistent. He sternly reminded Fatty Yang, brother, don't blame me for not warning you, Wang Mingmei is now brother Qin Tian's servant. You'd better forget about her. If you get into trouble because of her, I can't protect you either. Fatty Yang glared fiercely at Qin Tian, clenching his fists. I know, bro. Qin Tian was somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected Mingmei's troubles to be resolved so quickly. Does he have some prejudice against the masters of this world? Actually, they are quite nice people. There shouldn't be any problems with the Wang family side, right? Wrong. Qin Tian immediately rejected this idea. The reason he could so easily abduct Wang Mingmei was because Wang Mingmei was a servant. He glanced at the girls in the square. They were all servants similar to Wang Mingmei, easily obtainable by the Yang family. In addition, Yang Guangming liked to make friends with his master, and the servants were like gifts to him. However, Wang Qingwen, whom he killed, was a direct descendant on whom the Wang family placed their hopes. The two cannot be compared. I wonder what the Wang family has been up to lately. They've been silent for so long. Yang Guangming smiled and pulled Qin Tian and Yang Guangqing aside, saying, "Come on, shake hands, and let's consider this matter over." Qin Tian calmly extended his hand, waiting for Yang Guangqing. Fatty Yang was very unhappy, but seeing his brother's stern eyes, he reluctantly reached out and shook hands with Qin Tian to make peace. As soon as he let go, Fatty Yang said, "Hey, there's one of these servants I like, don't try to take her from me." He knew exactly what his brother was thinking when he brought the men over. He would definitely give a servant to his friend as a gift. He was afraid that Qin Tian would try to take it again, because with his brother around, he knew he couldn't possibly win against Qin Tian. Qin Tian asked curiously, "Which one?" Yang Guangqing pointed to a girl dressed in a black and white school uniform among the group. She has medium-length brown hair with bangs neatly covering her forehead. The hair is smooth and has a natural layered look. Her eyes were a clear blue, with a cool or slightly serious expression. She carried a numb sense of resignation, as if she had no idea about her future and was just living one day at a time. Alternative attendant, Qin Xingning. Age, 18. Talent level, A rank blessing can grant abilities, S rank blessing, S rank prayer, S rank sacrifice. Class, 3. Height, 165 centimeters. Weight, 46. Measurements, 82, 63, 79. Appearance, 92. Looks 18, demeanor 20, figure 19, status 20, personality 15. Favorability, 0. Seeing the girl's profile, Qin Tian became somewhat curious. It turns out she's a girl with the same surname as him. Maybe they were family 500 years ago. Yang Guangming glanced at the girl and rolled his eyes at Yang Guangqing. "Little brother, your tastes haven't changed. That girl is from the Qin family, right? I didn't expect them to send her here. How strange. You didn't just kidnap her, did you?" "No. No." Yang Guangqing quickly denied, chuckling. "This girl committed a serious crime in the Qin family and was originally supposed to be executed. After I found out, I made a deal with the Qin family, and so they sent this girl here." Yang Guangming nodded. "That's fine then." He glanced at Qin Tian. "I remember you also have the surname Qin, right? Are you related to the Qin family?" Qin Tian shook his head. "I think it's just that we have the same surname. I was born in Donghai City. My mother passed away when I was 10 years old. I was raised by the Master Attendant Association. Because my mother's surname is Qin, my name was given to me by my mother." Yang Guangming nodded. "Your mother should not be a member of the Qin family. Women of the Qin family can never leave the capital city for their entire lives unless they sign a contract." He put his arm around Qin Tian's shoulder, pointed at the Qin family servant, and laughed. "How about it? Do you like her? She's a woman from the Qin family, very rare. If you like her, take her home, you'll have face when you go out." Qin Tian smiled wryly. "Such a good servant, you're willing to give him to me?" Yang Guangming shrugged. "So what? She only has a level talent. My attendance must be S level to be worthy of me. Anyway, if I give it to my brother, he'll just play around with it. If I give it to you, you'll probably train him properly. I heard that Wang Mingmei is already at the 4th level." Yang Guangqing's eyes widened, and he shouted at his brother, "Brother! That's the servant I've taken a liking to. How could you do this?" Yang Guangming curled his lip, somewhat angrily saying, "So what if you've taken a liking to someone? Don't think I don't know. You've already played with 100 or 2 girls to death. Although it's no big deal if a servant dies, your behavior will affect my ability to find a good servant. Many of the servants I've taken a liking to say that you're my younger brother, and they're afraid I'll play them to death, so none of them are willing to form a contract with me." Yang Guangqing scratched his head. "Okay." Yang Guangming was his half-brother, and they were very close. When he made mistakes, Yang Guangming would always clean up his messes. If Yang Guangming wasn't strong enough, he wouldn't dare to act so recklessly. Yang Guangming nodded, then turned to Qin Tian and asked, "So, have you taken a liking to it?" Qin Tian stroked his chin, looking at the girl named Qin Xingning. Just then, Jormungandr spoke in Qin Tian's ear. "Making a contract with that girl will be useful to me. Chapter 95. Kill me. Please, destroy me. Will it be useful to you? Qin Tian turned around in surprise to look at Jormungandr. Jormungandr nodded and whispered, "That girl's talent is a level blessing." A girl who carries despair in her heart but has the talent of blessing is very rare. She is the best sacrifice to open the Black Emperor's bone bottle. You want to use her as a sacrifice? Qin Tian's eyes widened. Because Qin Tian's voice was rather loud, Yang Wangming frowned slightly. What offerings? He chuckled as he spoke. I didn't know you were into this stuff. You actually believe in the superstition of using servants as sacrifices to change your fate? However, if you want her, you can decide whether she lives or dies. In any case, she is a sinner of the Qin family and will not escape death in the end. Yang Guangming's last words were spoken in a cold and ruthless tone. Yang Guangqing, however, complained, since you're going to use it as a sacrifice, why can't I have some fun first? Yang Guangming tapped his younger brother's forehead. Don't worry about it, I'll find you one, okay? Really? Yang Guangqing happily hugged his brother. Yang Guangming pushed him away with a look of disgust, shouting, Don't come near me, you smell greasy. Qin Tian looked at the two brothers and couldn't help but smile. He was there to steal, but the other person was being so nice to him that he was finding it hard to bring himself to do it. However, this is for the good of the Yang family. Jormungandr has no intention of using force to seize it. If Jormungandr were to act recklessly, the Yang family would probably be wiped out. However, even Qin Tian wouldn't want to sacrifice an 18-year-old girl. However, Jormungandr's eyes were cold and resolute. If Qin Tian didn't take her away, she would seize the girl and nail her to the bronze pillar. He could only sigh. Perhaps this girl was truly beyond saving. Then I can take that girl with me. Qin Tian pointed at Qin Xingning. Yang Guangming waved his hand. Take him away. Do you want me to give you a room to rest in? There are guest rooms upstairs. Okay. Qin Tian nodded. He watched the girl walk over, her expression cold and aloof, unlike Ling Jingshue's coldness. Ling Jingxue was silent, indifferent, and expressionless, while Qin Xingning's eyes were filled with despair and contempt for everything in the world. She didn't speak, but whenever she did, it was always a scathing attack on the world, filled with intense resentment. It was clearly a blessing that he was born to become a high priest filled with compassion, hope, and gentleness. The masters of the Yang family continued to select servants in the square, while the staff led Qin Tian and his companions to the guest rooms on the 90th floor. Even the guest rooms are extremely luxurious, with a room of over 400 square meters, a TV covering an entire wall, crystal chandeliers, cabinets full of red wine, whiskey, and brandy, and the floor covered with knitted carpets that are incredibly soft to the touch. If you were to buy a house like this in Kyoto, it would probably cost at least 1 billion yen. This is the heart of Kyoto. As soon as she entered the room and the door closed, the girl named Qin Xingning disdainfully placed her hand on the buttons on her chest and began to take off her clothes. Qin Tian couldn't help but laugh out loud. What are you doing? Qin Xingning said coldly, didn't you say you wanted to sleep with me? Then come on, just consider it as being slept with by a dog. Now that I've come to the Yang family, I'm prepared to be humiliated to death. I'm curious, how will you humiliate me? It's disgusting. She took off her coat, then lifted her skirt, turned her head, and looked at Qin Tian sideways. This is what you wanted, right? Come on, I absolutely won't make a sound. Jormungandr sat on the sofa, crossed his legs, and said indifferently, go ahead and play if you want. Anyway, the more desperate she is, the more useful she is to me. Don't worry about me. I know all too well about you humans. Scarlet walked into the e-sports room and said with a smile, I'm going to play some games now. We'll be starting work soon, so let's hurry up. Qin Xingning said disdainfully, oh. So your Yang family's Black Tower has ulterior motives, huh? Then you're even more determined to kill me, aren't you? Otherwise, I will definitely reveal your secrets and drag you all down to hell with me. Qin Tian's eyes grew increasingly cold. Originally, he wanted to salvage the situation or give her a dignified death, but the girl's attitude made him very unhappy. He grabbed the girl and led her to the large mirror in the room. Pointing at Qin Xingning's reflection, he said coldly, don't you feel ashamed to see yourself like this? Qin Xingning sneered, shame? What's the use of shame when you shameless masters play with me to death? It only makes you more excited. That's disgusting. Scumbag. Waste. Are you impotent? What a useless master. How dare you stand here? Qin Xingning uttered a string of harsh words in one breath, while praying incessantly in her heart. Kill me. Kill me. I've done all this to you, just kill me already. Just kill me already. I don't want to stay in this world for another second. Kill me. Shin Tian found it amusing what was wrong with this woman. Other servants were trying their best to please their master, but this one was recklessly stepping on landmines, as if she wanted to provoke Shin Tian and have him kill her. Want to die? I'll make sure you don't get your way. He stroked Qin Xingning's smooth, fair skin. The feel of her skin was quite nice. She was indeed a young lady from a prestigious family. She must have been living a good life before coming here. Qin Xingning stared blankly at Qin Tian in the mirror, who was touching her cheek, and felt utterly disgusted. I, from the Qin family, have actually been reduced to being humiliated by such a master. Qin Tian pinched Qin Xingning's ear, and her ear instantly turned red. The tidal effect was starting to take effect. Qin Xingning remained expressionless, but a tidal wave of emotions surged within her. Why am I reacting like this? I've already taken my medication, so I shouldn't waver. Why can this master make me like this? I feel so disgusted. Wherever Qin Tian's fingertips touched, Qin Xingning would tremble. How disgusting! How disgusting! Fear, anxiety, anger, and shame rose within me, one level after another. She could no longer keep a straight face and began to grit her teeth. Is that all you're capable of? It seems you really aren't. Ouch! She gritted her teeth, but still couldn't help but grin and make a strange sound, her body involuntarily leaning forward. What? Qin Tian said disdainfully, didn't you just say that you would never make a sound? Qin Xingning stubbornly insisted, I didn't yell. I'm just a little tired. Oh? Qin Tian pinched Qin Xingning's flushed cheeks, looked in the mirror, and said calmly, but what I see is that you are sexually frustrated, looking particularly eager. Come on, follow your instincts, stop pretending, and tell me your true thoughts. Qin Xingning looked at her disgusting reflection in the mirror. She trembled all over, her legs went weak, and she stumbled, almost losing her balance. A terrible storm descended, mercilessly tearing apart her mental world, destroying and annihilating everything she possessed. Instinct began to take over, robbing reason, and she whispered, her hair in her mouth. Please, destroy me. Chapter 96. I'm not human anymore? Are you here to destroy humanity? Destroy you? Qin Tian looked at the woman with a foul temper, sneered, and glanced around the room, a slight smile playing on his lips. What good thing did he see? A fireplace. I never expected the Yang family to be so particular. They even have a fireplace in their home, and it's a real one, not just a decoration. He took out the fire tongs from the fireplace, lit them with the ashes of everything, and then, standing before Qin Xingning, who was as soft as mud, asked her a question. Do you want me to destroy you with these tongs, or with this? He grinned. Since Jormungandr needs a sacrifice of despair, let him make this woman even more desperate. Anyway, she was determined to die and said so many things that made me angry. He had originally wanted to give her a chance to live, but now he didn't want to anymore. Some women just love to ruin what could have been a bright future. However, her expression wanting to refuse but twisted by her title was truly exciting. It turns out that doing bad things feels so great. No wonder those masters could never go back to what they were doing after they started treating their servants like they weren't human. Today he'll be inhuman for once too. Qin Xingning trembled as she looked at the red-hot tongs in Qin Tian's steely will. She slowly raised her hand and pointed at the red-hot tongs. Qin Tian raised an eyebrow. This woman is really ruthless. According to the plot, she should have chosen Qin Tian's burning steel will, but she resolutely chose the red-hot tongs. It seems she truly hates this world. Jormungandr, watching from the side, chuckled, interesting, you know how to pull this kind of stunt? She'd rather have